My name is Spies. I come from South Africa. I am a Tokyo Olympian and a Paris Olympic hopeful, and I'm currently in London preparing for the Olympic Games. A friend of my dad's was actually throwing a bicycle out, and I kind of got my hands on that, and Dad took me to the track and gave it a try, and I absolutely loved it. I was 14 years old and kind of just wanted to ride my bike since day one. As a child, I never wanted to have a real job. I've always loved racing my bicycle. I've been racing since the age of 6 years old, and yeah, having the opportunity to go and chase this dream as an adult, very few people can do that. And yeah, I'm just fortunate enough to be able to be one of the lucky ones. Yes, being a self-funded athlete makes that extremely difficult, and I'm so grateful for those that have donated to my cause and to my dream, and ultimately that is what has gotten me here today. Without that, no ways that this would have been possible, and I would have actually had to have a real job. I specialize in the keirin and the sprint, which is the two that I'll be doing at the Olympic Games. The keirin is my utmost favorite. It is the one with the motorbike. So the motorbike takes the group of riders up to speed over 3 laps and then drops us off with 3 laps to go, which is 750 meters. The motorbike drops us off at 50 kilometers an hour, and from there it is just pure chaos and pure carnage of sprint racing with 6 of the best riders in the world going at it, trying to get to that finish line first. The other event is the sprint, which starts off with a flying 200-meter time trial, and then the seeding from the 200-meter time trial puts us in match sprints, 2 riders against each other, and you go through a round-robin system until there are 2 riders left in the event, which will be the first and second riders of the day.
A man who loves riding his bike. It's John Spies of South Africa.
There's going to be a lot of support for John Spies. As you said, anybody who saw that interview between him and Christina Vogel yesterday, he's won a lot of fans, and they're right on cue. Young fans as well.
Go John, go Harry. Spies, he's in the South African colours, the green and the yellow. Richardson who goes right, and look at the Vanessa as well. They are flying supersonic already with 1.5 laps to go.
I think the original point where everything changed was sitting in this velodrome behind me, in the Lee Valley Velodrome, where I knew and I realized how different my lifestyle and how different my training, my racing, my understanding of the sport of cycling was compared to what it needed to be. A big tipping point was definitely in 2018 when I went to World Championships in Apeldoorn, and I met one of the coaches there from one of the international teams. I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name, but he invited me to go and train with his squad, and within 6 weeks my entire life changed forever. The way I raced, the way I understood racing, the way I understood my own training just like exploded, and within 6 weeks it was just like a whole new world for me. Obviously from there was still a lot of hard work, a lot of ups and downs and disappointing days, but you know, it was one of those where it was like, actually you're already 3/4 of the way there because of those 6 weeks and because of what that person has done for me. And yeah, it was just a case of like, let's get going, let's keep fighting, obviously trying to get funding and trying to race internationally. So stepping into the track in Izu in Tokyo, I wanted to walk in there knowing that I deserved to be there 100%. So we walked up the ramp into the track and you kind of have the sign of the big boards and the big track in front of you. And it was just that pure joy of like, okay, I'm here and I've arrived. And this is real. That to me was an amazing feeling. Barring Tokyo being such a beautiful and fast track, it's a great sensation knowing that it's big and it's huge. Like I said, Olympics is bigger than anything else, but when you ride on those boards, you know it's bigger. It just feels bigger, it feels better, it feels like this is something that is just unique to the entire world. I loved every second of being on the boards, whether it was training or racing. It was just a unique world that I absolutely adored and loved. The uniqueness of being that self-funded athlete is the fact that I can understand where the difficult days have brought me, and I can appreciate the good days a whole lot more. For me, the silver lining is the fact that I'm chasing my dream and I'm fortunate enough to do so. So I will continue doing so with all the might that I've got and with all the support of the people that are around me. But yeah, it's wonderful to be able to do it, and I think a lot of the time athletes that I compete against don't quite see the behind the scenes and the nitty-gritty that it actually takes for them to be there, on and off the bike even. But the reality is it's a great story for me, and I'm willing to share it with those athletes and with the rest of the world. I've had very unique situations and circumstances where I've literally had to sleep under the grandstands in a track. I've had to sleep in my bike box, in the storage units. I've slept literally in the horse barn next to the horses, on random farms, unique little places where somebody's had a caravan in the middle of the field, so I can go and stay there. And you kind of like, you know, when you need to get to the bathroom and it's snowing, and it's not pleasant, but again, it's part of the story and part of the unique journey that I've had. And I love those little stories because it has ultimately shaped me to the person that I am today. But yeah, possibly my favorite is sleeping in the horse barn and definitely sleeping under the grandstands at an international competition. Knowing that I'm doing something that I love and I'm doing something that I truly believe that I'm on this planet for, is what drives me. You know, I love the freedom of being on my bike. I love the traveling. I love the people that I encounter on a day-to-day basis within what I do. There's nothing else in the world I'd rather do. You know, if I had to speak to the younger Jean, it would probably be to actually tell him to get on with it a whole lot earlier, you know, as opposed to waiting for those around him and you know, kind of waiting for somebody to save the story or save the dream. Was to get on with the dream and kind of make it happen for yourself, and all the cards would fall back into place. And I think that's the story I have for everybody in any journey that they've got. You know, kind of get started, get going, and the cards will fall where they are supposed to be. So just start the process. So we're not far off of the Olympic Games. I'm waiting to get final confirmation that I will be going to the Olympic Games. I've done everything that I possibly can, and we're waiting for that final stamp of approval, and I'm really looking forward to heading to Paris.